This is a Real Love Conversation, episode 5, and I wanted to talk today about what happens, what do we do when we're having negative thoughts? What do those negative thoughts do to ourselves and to others? What happens to those negative thoughts? If we are not stepping in as the caretaker and saying, hey, we don't speak like that in here, meaning we don't show up as the parent and we just let our inner children speak out whatever they want. We allow them to judge others inside their head. We allow them to talk negative about other people. We allow them to analyze other people. We allow them to point fingers, blame, whatever it is they're doing, and we allow that. We are opening the door for that to have that type of energy to be in our outer world, because that's in our inner world. It's a very toxic energy. It's a very fearful energy. It's not self-reflective. It has nothing to do with self-growth. It has nothing to do with loving the self or loving others, for that matter. It has nothing to do with love, and has everything to do with fear. So let's talk first about what it does to others, and then we'll go to what it does to you, how that backfires on you. So I know this can be a habit that your inner children are in, of judging, labeling, gossiping, looking at others and saying they should do this or they shouldn't do that. But let's talk energetically for a minute about what's actually happening, because remember, you're always creating. You're either creating from fear, you're creating from love. These inner children are always creating. So if they're in that energy, which is of fear, which is rather toxic, and it's like garbage, they are just floating around in garbage, we let our inner children do all of that. They themselves will get sick, and they themselves can cause others around them to become sick. So they kind of become infected. Let's look at it energetically. So say someone did something to you, and you feel very justified in how your inner children are judging them, what they're saying about them, and maybe yes, they did do whatever it is that went against your belief system, that went against your values, that went against what you would do and wouldn't do, that went against how you choose to live your life. And because they did that, then your inner children began to, and it hurt you in some way, or maybe it didn't even hurt you, you just didn't like it. Those inner children began to think on that action or behavior while they're thinking of that person, and they are creating energy. They're creating if you want to visualize it, like just a big old ball of toxic trash or a little virus. They're creating that. The longer they're allowed to think about that and ruminate on that and think about what this person did or what this person didn't do or what they should have done or what they should have said or what they how bad they are and how wrong they are, the longer you allow that inner child to sit in that, the bigger this little ball of trash becomes. And because this person is the focus or is the topic of this commentary in your head, it's almost like you make a label. And we talked about this a little bit in in episode 14 of the Tidy 10 at 10. But you make a label for that little trash ball, and you stick that little label on it and say, when I'm done dwelling in this, when I'm done fussing about this, when I'm done resisting this, when I'm done being mad about this, when I finally relax and move on, when the inner children leave it alone and move on to a different topic, as soon as they relax and let go of it, that little energy ball is then delivered to that person. So you are creating karma through this action of a negative internal dialogue about another person. It could also be about yourself. You don't want to do it to either one, right? So when you create it, and there it is, you allow that inner child to just sit and they're fussing and arguing, and why did they do this, and why they're judging and trying to figure it out, and how could they be so this, or insensitive, or selfish, or how could they have done this to me? The longer you sit there, the bigger this ball becomes. And then finally, your little mind will get tired of the topic, or somebody else will do something and it'll start judging them. It'll move on. Then that is going to the other person. So what happens to the other person? All right. So they're sitting there unknowing what's going on. Now say they too have that habit of talking in their head bad about people, or judging or labeling or whatever. If they also have that very same habit, then it's like their guard, their defenses to protect against something like this coming into their world or coming at them are down, because they're doing it too. They're like you, and they also, judge people in their head, maybe not you, but maybe somebody else, which means they're in fear, they're dwelling in fear, they're talking about fear, they're talking very negative, they're telling scary stories. Therefore, Lovey. Therefore, their gates are down. They are not protected against the negative energy ball that is coming towards them from when you were thinking negative about them. Now, let's say they don't do that. Maybe they listen to this audio and were like, oh my, no, I don't want to throw those at anybody else, and I also don't want to receive those. So I don't want to be giving those or receiving those. And they don't do that anymore. So they see a person, and even if, their little egos, their little inner children doesn't like a behavior that they do, maybe they just say, you know what, they're a beautiful soul. That's a beautiful soul. That is a soul, that is a gift of God. Lovey, go on. Go on now. Go on. I'm not sure why she does that, but my cat loves to come in here and talk to me. If she hears me talking, she thinks she's got to come in here and talk. Talk back, I guess. I don't know. So you are no longer participating in that type of internal dialogue, meaning you step in as a caretaker, and as soon as you hear, and it's a habit, you have to break that inner child's habit of going down this road about other people and about life situations. It could be about anything. It doesn't have to include a person. Just something they don't like, something they don't want, something they don't like. And you say, you know what, we're not going to go down that path. We're not going to talk trash. No trash talk inside here, because that results in letting our guard down and receiving other people's trash, and also giving trash to others. We don't want to do that. We don't want to pollute the world with fear and trash. We want to infect the world with love, if we're going to infect it with anything. So you don't do that anymore, and say, you're staying, your defenses are up, because your immune system, your emotional immune system is strong, because you don't play in the trash ever with any conversation, inside your head or outside your head. That includes gossip, tearing other people down to make ourselves feel better. We don't do that anymore. And if someone else is doing that, we're like, ooh, back away. They're throwing trash, and I don't want to be in the middle of it, and I don't want my defense. I don't want to get sick, because it will make you sick, and it will create a life that you do not enjoy. Okay? So you are being solid, and you're being strong in your immune system, meaning the only conversations you allow to go on inside your mind with those inner children are loving thoughts, loving opinions, loving judgments. If you're going to have any judgment, make it a loving one. They're a beautiful soul. That's the only thing you can think to say. If that's the only thing your little inner child who hates that person will agree to say, because we are all beautiful souls. Now, Depending on the level of trash you float around in, you're going to operate out of that. But deep down in the core, under all that trash, is a beautiful soul. It is true for each and every person. They're a beautiful soul created by God. And at their pure essence, they are love, just like you are. And if that's the only thing you can say, fine. That's wonderful. They're a beautiful soul. You can then elaborate on that. Like you can, if your, little inner children doesn't have any resistance to it, then you can start creating what you want to see in them. They are such an amazing partner to me. They are so loving and kind. You'll have to see, make sure there's no resistance. Like, no, he's not, whatever. You have to just take it slow with them. But at least agree. They're a beautiful soul. And if that's the only thought I can have internally about that person, so be it. It's still love. And I'm not going down in the trash. I'm not creating trash. I'm not polluting anybody. And I'm also keeping my guard up. So you've been doing that, and you've been keeping your defenses up, and your emotional immune system is strong. Your mental immune system is strong, whichever one you want to think. Then someone else sees you bebopping along in life, because usually when you have a strong mental and emotional immune system, then you're not creating a lot of garbage to deal with in your life, so you kind of look a little happy-go-lucky. And people outside of you can get either threatened by that, or feel jealous of that, or like, who do you think you are? Why do you get that? If you are strong in your immune system, meaning you're only thinking loving thoughts and judgments about others, if you're going to have one, it's loving. And someone sits over there in the corner pouting and stewing and making a beautiful little trash ball to throw at you, right with your name on it. When they finally relax and let go, and that releases and comes your way, it cannot enter into your field. You are protected because you're not in the game. You're not playing that game. You're not a vibrational match for that energy. We do not want to be a vibrational match to drama or pain or negativity or fear. And this is how you keep from dipping down into that and opening yourself up to that and being vulnerable by that. This is work, because a lot of times you won't even be paying attention to your inner children, and they're judging someone in a negative way. And you have to stop the habit and say, hey. If you want to invite trouble into our life, go for it. If you want to be slammed with one of these trash balls from somebody else, because you're spinning one right now to send to somebody. And so that means karma, the law of karma says you're going to get one back. And when they hit you, maybe you are bebopping along through life, and in the background you have been having negative thoughts and judgments about somebody, which means your defenses are down, and you get slammed with one of these, it can knock you on your back and lead you down to depression, lead you down to doubting yourself. And why is that? Because however they're judging you in a negative way, all those thoughts are still contained in that trash ball. So when it hits you, their thoughts then become your thoughts. Those thoughts, because your immune system was weak, just come right on into your mental space. And you start hearing them. You start hearing whatever they were thinking about you. You start hearing those thoughts in your head. And you think it's your thoughts. That's one big mistake. It's like, a lot of times it's not. It came from somewhere. It came from a jealous person. It came from somebody sitting in a lot of fear. It came from somebody who was threatened by you. And then all the things they're saying about you, you start to hear it in your head. And you start to doubt yourself. And you're like, oh, maybe I am. Maybe that is true. Maybe I don't deserve this. Maybe, who do I think I am? Like, why do I get to have this and that? Why do I get to be so lucky? So you start hearing those thoughts play in your own mind, and it will lead you down to a deep, dark place if you allow it. So one thing I just want to say, if that's where you are right now, and something about your vibration allowed you to hear this, you were open enough to get this, I want you to just realize that may not even be your trash. You may have been trash talking somebody else inside your head, or even yourself, which weakened your mental and emotional immunity system. And then when someone else stuff delivered to you, you started playing it in your head. If you are in self-doubt right now, it's highly likely that those were the thoughts that someone else who was not liking you and what you were doing and what you were receiving and how you were operating in life was thinking about you. Is it true? Absolutely not. It is a pack of lies. Every trash ball is a big old bundle of lies and fear. There is no truth. No truth can come from fear. The fear is a lie. Everything about fear is a lie. So, and that's why it puts you down. It's just like you start believing in that lie. Life can't flow through you. It stops you in your tracks. And if you don't step in as the caretaker and help this little inner child see, hey, it is what those in the spiritual communities refer to as a psychic attack. Hey, this is coming, but you know what? You're not a victim in this. You know why you received it? Because you're still in that karmic cycle of action-reaction, of give and receive. You're in that karmic cycle of, I'm doing it too. Maybe not to that person. Maybe I've not been doing it to them, but I do it to others. So to stay safe, any thought that you have to take every thought captive. That's a verse in the Bible. You have to take it captive and say, whoa, hey, this is not what I want to entertain. This is not the energy I want to create from. I don't want to deal with more trouble down the road. And if I sit in this, I'm going to have more trouble. There's going to be more drama. There's going to be more problems. So if you know of someone, maybe right now you're thinking, oh my God, that makes so much sense because so-and-so was hating on me the other day. Don't sit there then and weaken your immune system and start thinking negative thoughts about them. Don't fight fire with fire. Don't retaliate. Don't get back. You protect yourself. You step out of that vibration altogether. And that's what makes you untouchable. Love strengthens your mental and emotional immune system and causes you to be able to bebop through life in a way that makes you untouchable by others. And those who are ready to witness that will be inspired by you, not threatened. I hope this has helped. Thank you for listening, and I'll see you again next time.